Here we are again out at the job site, and it's the weekend. And you know what? These guys showed up today. I was down the street this morning. I thought I would come by here, and sure enough, they were here working. And I was like, what are they doing working on the weekend? Because most of the time they don't work on weekends. Well, it just depends. Just depends on your subcontractors. You know, the framers, maybe they've got another job to be at in a few weeks, and they want to get done as quickly as possible so they can get to their other job. And a few days ago it rained a couple days, and they got behind a little bit because I don't think they showed up, and they were waiting for their rest of their wood to show up and everything. And so I think they were trying to catch up. Now see, they didn't really do a whole lot today, except I see something different over here. What have they done over here? Remember these walls here were a little bit taller than these other walls. So when they put these beams in, you have the floor joists going across here. They're going to set on that. They're going to set on that. They're going to set on that. And then when they come over here, they're going to have to set on something. And remember that wall over there was taller for some reason. I'm not quite sure why they did that. Of course, they followed the plans, and I thought, okay, they're going to have to do something along that wall, that concrete footing, in order for the floor joist to run into. And sure enough, that's what they've done. And see, they took some black felt paper, some roofing tar paper. Okay, they ran it up against there, and then they built this little pony wall. That's what I call it. Anything shorter than like a wall, you know, a full height wall, is called a pony wall. And that's what they've done here. They've installed that, and now the floor is going to set on that. And see, why do they have this tar paper here? Any guesses? Well, you can't have Douglas fir wood touching the concrete. And see, the mud seal plate is green. That is a Douglas fir piece, but they soaked it in creosote, and that's what your mud seal is made out of. Green, or you can put redwood. Years ago they used to use redwood, but now the redwood is too expensive. Okay, so they don't normally do that. They use mud seal like that that's soaked with this green creosote stuff. Okay, and that's how they did that. So that's okay. This wood here is okay to touch the concrete. Now, granted, they have some shims here, and I think they might have done that because maybe the footing is slightly crooked or something. They did that to make this so it was straight and so that everything's lined up. And see, they've got a little wall. They've got a little wall section there. I can see it's slightly crooked, but that doesn't really matter because see, the floor joists in this bay go across this way. Okay, and where this wall is here, it stepped up and then it dropped down. So they had to build that little thing there. That way this last piece from here over will have something to run on. And see, they did that. They did that over here too, see? Along this wall, here there's this long pony wall. They've done the same thing, haven't they? Right along here, they've done that over there. There's another little section over there. And they didn't just make it up. You have to read the set of plans, and that's how they've done it. And look, they've left their skill saw here. I don't normally ever leave tools out here. See this little thing here? Look at that. That's a rafter. That's kind of a rafter handle, see? And you can set that on rafters or floor joists or whatever you're working on. You can kind of set it there. If you're up high on a wall or something, you don't want to carry it up the ladder back and forth, or up on a roof or something. And he just leaves that on there, looks like. Okay? Now see here, it looks like this bottom plate was shot down with some concrete pins, and those concrete pins should really have a washer on them too, apparently they didn't, and the inspector will probably let it go. But see, here's the shots that they used, and as you can see, all of them have been used in here. But if OSHA was around, OSHA gets real sticky. They're real sticklers about it. If they come out on a job site, and if they see that, did you know that they would fine the general contractor? At least they used to years ago when I was doing construction work, you know, building stuff like this. When I first started out over 30 years ago, probably more like 40 years ago now. And even if all the shots have been used, they would fine you, and that's what my boss told me. And especially if one of these is not shot. Now sometimes when they run it through their stud gun, if they miss one, you should go back and always make sure you use them all up, you know, before you throw them away. Now that's the only one I'm seeing out here, but he should have picked that up at the end of the day. Usually whenever I did work like this, at the end of the day, it was my job to pick up everything, put the tools away. If we had a locker or something like that on a job site, we'd lock it all up. We'd or take them and make sure you've got them in your truck before you leave, and you clean up, you know, all the wood. They did a pretty good job. See, they've got little pieces here. That's okay, but you don't want to have too much stuff down in here, because then it's a tripping hazard. And then I would get these and throw those away. And especially when they get ready to start building this floor, then it's a real pain to pick up all the stuff later, because now you're up, down, up, down, up, down, trying to get everything out. Because before they put the floor down, after they get the floor joists on here, then they'll put the plywood on there. Oh, actually, before they put the plywood, they might. See, I don't know what they're going to do, because they've got the air conditioning ducting is going to go under here, and then they'll probably end up putting insulation in between the floor joists, you know, before they put the plywood on. And before they put the plywood on, then they have to get the inspector out here, and he's got to inspect everything before they put the plywood on. So then they'll have to call the heating and air conditioning mechanical inspector. They'll have to call the structural inspector before they put the floor down. Okay, so it'll be quite the process now that we know that there's going to be air conditioning underneath the floor here. All the ducts have got to be tied up properly. All the registers have to be installed properly up to the floor joists. They have to be boxed around. They have to be installed properly and attached properly and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it's just a process, obviously. Okay, well that's all I'm going to show you. It wasn't going to be a long one today. I could have came out here another day, but I thought, hey, if I've got the time to come out here and show you around when they're not here at each different step, then I will. You know, obviously there's going to be times where they're going to get ahead of me and I'm not going to be able to show you every single day of this. You know, my word, I'm not going to do that. But along the way, as much stuff as I can tell you, I will. Okay, so I think that's all I've got today. Here's some more string here. I saw some other string that they left, and you know, they're quite thinking that most people around here are not going to take any of their stuff. Here's some 3M tape. Not very much there. Here's a microwave, and they probably make their lunches in there with the extension cord. Here's a gas can. Look, it's got gas in it still. And then see here's they left some of their joist hangers out. I would never leave them out like in a wide open place like this, but they're pretty trusting of what's going on. See here, they've got their nails down here. Here's an oh, that's a hose. Here's some more Simpson strong ties. There's probably some in there, and here's some more brackets over here. Okay, so all kinds of stuff like that you have to use on a job site. And you know, you gotta look at the plans, know how to read the set of plans, order the right materials and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. So far, so good. Well, here I am again, my favorite place, the bathroom. And what was the report this time? Well, Momi said that her sink was backed up or it wasn't draining properly. Now, I recently made a video showing how to clear out a bathroom sink, and I showed you this little tool right here. It's called the Zip It, Z-I-P-I-T, Zip It. See there? I got it from the Home Depot years ago, and they still have them, by the way, and so does Lowe's. And this happened to be the one I had before. I got the yellow one, and the end got all corroded and messed up. See all the tines, the little plastic nylon tines. I call them tines. They just cut out, and see a brand new one. See how nice those look? Well, that's what this used to look like, and all the other ones got all messed up like these, and they got really bad here. So I just cut the end off, and I still use that every once in a while prior to me using this new one. Well, this one's not new anymore. I've used it probably, I don't know, 15 times so far. Unclog your sink, shower, and bathtub drains. Believe it or not, I've tried it in all 3 different areas, and it works. It's kind of tricky in bathtubs and showers, depending how far your P-trap is down below your shower drain and that kind of stuff. But you know, I did use this. In fact, I've used it on this sink. This is my sink here, Momi's sink. I've used it on hers, but she claims that it's still kind of draining slow. And I'm just going to humor her. And she's not here right now. She's out of town for a couple days, and I thought, hey, I'll make another video once and for all. I'm going to get this one clear 100%. Now, when you use the Zip It or anything like this, generally all you're doing is taking this and pushing it down in between the pop-up valve and down in there. And lots of times what happens is the hair gets all raveled around the pop-up valve, and that backs up your sink. It's not necessarily that your P-trap underneath your sink is clogged. It's the hair that's above your P-trap. Does that make sense? And that's why the Zip It usually does it. Now, I've 99.9% of the time when I use this, I can get the drains and the pop-up valve cleared enough for it to drain just like normal and not to have any problems. But Momi's claiming that it's still running slow and that it's gurgling. It's draining, and I can see it drain. You see there? I mean, shouldn't that be good enough? My word. But she thinks it should be draining faster than that. And I might have to agree with her. I mean, it's not backing up. That's for sure. It's not backing up. But see, after it goes down, then she can hear it go gluk, gluk, gluk. And she swears that it's still doing it. So I thought, okay, once and for all, I'm going to clean this out. And I'm not even going to use the Zip It this time. I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to have to get down and dirty underneath the sink, and I'm going to have to clear all this stuff out of here. I'm going to have to move the stuff away from her counter. Well, maybe not really. I'll just pull that away a little bit. Move this out of here. I've got my work clothes on. I'm going to get my trouble light so that I can get down here so I can show you, because the light down here, when I show the video camera, it doesn't show up very well, does it? Okay, I'm not sure if there's something wrong with my video camera or not. I don't think there is, but I'm going to get my trouble light and kind of shine it up in there so I can show you how I'm going to do this. Because see, I've got to take the P-trap apart, and then there's a pop-up valve on the back side of there, and I'll show you that in a minute, and that will let me take this out of there, and I'll talk to you about that, like I say, in a few minutes once I get ready. Okay, so if that's what you want to watch, stick around. I think you're gonna like it.